What a wonderful day here at the Slovakia ring. Nice weather, nice conditions, and we will see tough racing today. I'm really looking forward for race number 4, third round of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We are here with the team Bugira and with Adam Latchko. Hi, good to see you. You've been close to the podium this weekend so far. Final race, what are you looking forward?
Yeah, it's very close on the Super Pole. I'm third. It's also on a little bit from the second, but on the race I finished fourth on the potato position. But now we have a handicap race in front of us. It's not so easy because the temperature go more up and it's mean more slippery, and this is not really good for our track when it's too much slippery. I hope I do best, and I would like try podium because this weekend it's every time only one step from the podium, and I would like go home with a trophy.
Absolutely, and not with a potato. I mean, we can manage a potato, but this is nothing. So the tires, have you anything left, or was the tire management right now? You can put out everything you got.
Oh, we nothing changing because it's not time. We only refueling, and in 2 minutes we must go. And I do maximum. I try maximum, but very clear without the contact, because after it's a trouble with the FIA guys.
Absolutely. So it's reversed grid time. That means who's finished, and position 8 is going to be on pole position right now. Lots of overtaking. The single lap is 6 kilometers. Lots of curves. They are smaller, they are faster curves. This is very interesting. How many possibilities are there average to see a position where you can overtake?
Yeah, here it's a few corners where it's possible, but after it's very special here in Slovakia. It's very long straight. You have a lot of time for thinking where you try, but after coming a lot of corner, very long corner, short corner, slow corner, but it's possible past somebody, but you must have good luck for passing somebody.
So a lot of time for thinking is not too good because you're losing patience, or you're finding another ideas, or what is it at the really long straight?
Yeah, it's better when you all time fighting, because after you don't thinking about sometimes about the stupid things, and it's better when you're fighting all time and make very nice race, because when you go first and you have many laps front of you and you're thinking, maybe something broken or maybe something happened, it's better all time fighting. And after the 8 laps here, it's come very fast.
So keep on fighting then. Thank you very much, Adam Latchko.
Thank you very much, and we see.
Absolutely. We will see you competing there. Bye-bye to the audience. And it's nice to see also a driver without his helmet right now. And I can tell you this long straight, we were jogging yesterday, 1 lap. The drivers here in their trucks take 2 minutes and 40. We took 42 minutes. Well, Chaz and Ebi, I think you are faster. Faster with speaking, of course. Our commentators welcome you too.
Thank you very much, Christina, and fair play. I mean, 42 minutes isn't that bad, to be fair. I don't remember the last time I actually ran anywhere, to be honest with you. I like a track walk, but I'm not the sort of guy that does much running, if I'm utterly honest with you. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott here for the final race of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from the wonderful Slovakia ring. As you see, it's now up to 30 degrees Celsius air temperature at the circuit. And this very, very tight and technical track is really going to challenge the drivers. As Adam Latchko pointed out there, the tyre temperatures are going to be absolutely key here. And in the slight sort of envelope that we've gone into now with this temperature, the trucks are not going to feel very, very friendly underneath these drivers at all. There are certain windows where the tyres are really, really strong and really, really useful for a longer period of time, where they have this sort of operating window and they can sort of not wear down as quickly. But unfortunately, now we're getting into temperatures where that is quite high on the curve of where the tyres start to fall off. So drivers will need to be very, very careful in the long run and not push those tyres too hard early on. But at the end of the day, who am I to tell these drivers not to push too hard? Well, you all know what racing drivers are like. They will never back down and they will never slow down unless they really, really have to. Fantastic atmosphere, though, at the Slovakia ring this weekend. It's been wonderful to come back to it, because the championship has only visited here 3 times before, 2017, 18 and 19. And then, of course, during the pandemic and all of the COVID protocols that we had to follow, unfortunately, we were not able to get back to the Slovakia ring. But it is a great, great circuit, a very long lap as well, as has also been discussed this weekend. The drivers have a long time to think about things down the straight, as Adam Latchko pointed out to us there. Here is your grid, though. Shane Brereton finished the third race in 8th position, which puts him on pole alongside Andrei Kurzim. He's then going to be followed by Steffi Helm and Jamie Anderson on row 2. Steffi hoping for some more strong championship points from this one. She's not had the easiest of weekends so far. There is Adam Latchko on the horn. He's absolutely loving it. The close-up view there of the Bagheera Racing Freightliner. Great-looking machine, isn't it? Adam's truck with the day-glow, bright yellow fluorescent flashes all over certain body parts around the grille, the sort of headlight covers and the wing mirrors. Teo Calve's is basically the exact same design. However, it has a sort of light blue colour where those parts are. We also used to have Alia Kolok in the championship as well. She used to run orange flashes on the truck in those certain areas. Now, if you look very quickly at the red stripe just to the right of that grille that goes up the bodywork, there's a thin red line just underneath where it says Ravenol and just above where it says Gold. Now, in that, you will see that it says Slovakia ring and then has the date of the race weekend. Bagheera do update their trucks for every single race meeting with these graphics. They write on there what circuit it is and what dates the race weekend takes place. And I absolutely love that attention to detail. There's some great sentiment involved in that. And you do see it on both trucks at every single event. And the next time I'll be seeing that will be at the Nürburgring, and that's the next time you'll all be seeing that as well. We go there on the 15th to the 17th of July for the ADAC Truck Grand Prix of the Nürburgring, and that is bound to be a phenomenal event, one of the real highlights. We were supposed to go there last year, but unfortunately, due to all of the horrendous flooding and effectively the natural disasters that happened in the regions, the Eifel regions and into Belgium as well, the race was cancelled. There was an amazing effort, it must be said, by all of the trucks and all of the teams and the championship in general to provide aid for those in need. I heard reports of some of the racing trucks actually being put on road tyres and being used to help sort of pull things out of some of the flooding and help out. And I'm not sure how true that is. However, there were reports of that. And I mean, a lot of the teams were delivering food and water and necessary supplies to people. And it was an amazing, amazing thing to see. But luckily, this year, it looks like the event is all good to go ahead. No strict COVID restrictions in place to stop things from happening. I'm sure everybody will be out to enjoy themselves. There is Louis Rakwenko's truck. And there is Jane Rona Bigler, who we have been speaking to this weekend. She's an absolute star of the championship. She's a very, very enthusiastic lady, and she's a really, really good laugh to have around. And there she is, giving us a wave as well. Fantastic stuff. Everybody makes their way out on track now then, bit by bit. Jamie Anderson coming out of the pit lane with Teo Calve behind him. Jamie will be starting this race from 4th on the grid, so if anything, it's actually better because he's finished in 5th and now gets reversed onto 4th on the grid, if that makes sense. The whole top 8 gets swapped around, so Norbert Kish, after that very, very impressive 5.4 second victory in race 3, will now start 8th on the grid for the final race of the weekend. I'm actually quite sad that it's already come around to the final race. It's come around very, very quickly indeed. But it always does in this championship. We always have a lot of fun here in this series. And there is Stefan Fass in the very, very wonderful Tankpool 24 machine. Fantastic livery on their trucks every single year. They always look very striking. He's got Andrei Kurzim just in front. Another truck that you cannot miss in a hurry. The bright yellow and white machine, the number 11 Iveco from Don't Touch Racing. Reminding people not to make contact. On board with Stefan Fass now, and you can see the endless amount of connections and fuses and things behind the massive instrument panel that he has sweeping around to his right-hand side in the truck cab. There's nothing too glamorous about the inside of these racing machines, but everything is so purposeful and so well-built and sturdy. And a lot of the drivers, you'll see as well, if we do get more footage from Stefan during the race, you'll see that he does a lot of the lap actually one-handed. They have the gear shift, get the gear shifted to the right-hand side of them. And they spend most of the lap with only one hand on the wheel while they go through the gears up and down very, very quickly. Now, I've had word as well from Barbara. Thank you very much to Barbara, as ever, for providing me with so much information from behind the scenes, that the track temperature is currently over 49 degrees Celsius. Really shows you how amazing the heat is in Slovakia right now. I remember when we went to Hungary, I didn't expect it to be anywhere near as hot as it was. And the track temperature was kind of similar around there. And, well, witnessing the temperature firsthand back down there on the ground is Christina.
Yes, witness of the temperature as well. This is always why they have a small bottle of water, and this is a survival package from Team Don't Touch Racing. We are here at the first row. You can see that this is the sign. Little details. Oh my God, English, such complicated. So we got, yes, it's everything sorted. Perfectly. So Andre Kursing is coming right now to his position, and we are live with him. Maybe we open the door and have a small chat with him. So, of course, the engineers first, and then our seconds from the broadcast team. Andre, kurze Frage. So we had a race 4 final race meeting, the air pressure set at the tires. Es wird wieder warm hier, ne? Wie sieht's aus vor dem 4. Rennen?
Ja, okay, zweite Startposition für uns. Vielleicht nicht die optimale Ausgangslage für die erste Kurve. Aber ja, schauen wir mal. Hat jeder Zweitplatzierte das Problem oder alle auf der linken Seite? Und ja, schauen wir mal, was passiert.
So you said you're starting from P2. This is not the best way to get into the first curve, of course. And Shane Brereton told me that he had difficulty seeing the lights from this position, I remember. Ich glaube, Shane hat mir vorhin erzählt, dass er Schwierigkeiten hatte, die Ampel zu sehen von dieser Position. Ist dir das auch schon aufgefallen?
Ja, Schwierigkeiten hat man in dem Sinne, ja, nicht optimal, aber es gibt Strecken, da ist es schlechter.
So you said, yeah, it's not the best way, but not ideal, but it's capable. Wie gehst du ins Rennen rein? Bei Shane war es ganz auf dem Ohr, halt nur ein ganz leichtes Go. Wer schreit bei dir rein? Who's screaming at your ear when it's time to go?
Ja, bei uns ist es der Sven. Ja, der wird alles geben, dass das zeitnah passiert, dass wir den Start nicht verschlafen. Und dann hoffen wir, dass wir vielleicht den Shane noch irgendwie überholen können und vielleicht einen Podiumsplatz heute rausfahren können.
So he's saying, yeah, this is always Sven, of course. He needs to scream into his ears when it's time to go. And he said, maybe I can give it a go and have a good start there and maybe overtake Shane Brereton. So this is the reverse grid race number 4 at Chess, and a small go for you as well.
Yeah, I've always wondered what it's like to be a sort of engineer over the radio for a racing driver. I know a bunch of racing driver friends of mine that have people that, to be honest with you, they're more about the banter over the radio than actually getting too serious about the job. And I think at the end of the day, to have that great relationship between sort of engineer and racing driver, you need to have that sort of camaraderie and that banter as well, to be honest with you. But they all focus very, very hard throughout the entire event and get the job done to a really high standard. There needs to be a massive amount of trust as well between not just the driver and their engineer, but of course the whole team as well, that they'll deliver a great package. And I mean, we've seen so many performances by some of these great top teams in this series where they've performed absolute miracles. I mean, looking back to the last race meeting at the Hungaroring, the operations that went on, and they're literally operations, like military operations overnight, between some of these teams to fix some of the trucks after the accident was unbelievable and completely overnight. Apparently, there's some cooling of someone's feet going on, Christina. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Hello, what is your name, please?
Hi, nice to meet you, Susan.
Susan, nice to meet you. So she's helping out the grid girls because, as you have heard, the asphalt temperature is 49 degrees and she's helping out cooling the shoes. And this is what it looks like. I mean, it is a strange procedure, but also it's helping the girls very much. Please, go ahead. So she's spraying actually the feet of the grid girls. Please, for me as well. No. Sorry, Chess. No water for me then. Okay.
Können wir auch machen, gar kein Problem.
I might have to just throw my drink over my feet now, just to feel included. But yeah, it's interesting. We have a thing over here in the UK. I'm pretty sure you'll get it anywhere in the world, really. But we have this sort of it's called Magicool, I think. Other cooling sprays are available, but there is this sort of cooling spray that you can use when you're too hot. I would have thought it would be something like that, but maybe a bit more glamorous than just spraying a bottle of water on somebody's feet. But still, these are the wonderful little details that you don't always see at race meetings. Shane Brereton on pole position. That's not a small detail. That's the main talking point here as he lines up alongside Andrei Kurzim on the front row of the grid. Andrei looking for another race victory in this championship. He has 8 overall race wins up to now. Steffi Hallman, Jamie Anderson on row 2. A very interesting row 2 as well. I'm excited to see how those pair get on from the start. Behind them, they'll have big pressure, though, from 2 absolute titans, Adam Latchko and Jochen Hahn. I tell you what, if I was starting in one of these races, there's 2 people I wouldn't want directly behind me, and it's those 2. Really, really experienced big dogs, as one of my mates would call them. Sasha Lenz and Norbert Kish as well, 2 more utter titans on row 4. There's a fantastic quartet there, right in the middle of the field, ready to do battle and hopefully, for their sake, move through the order together. We often see Norbert Kish sort of outdo the other drivers that move through the pack on these reverse grid races. Stefan Faas and Theo Calve just flashed up for a moment there on row 5. Theo finishing the last race in 10th. He's going to be looking for a lot more points in this last one. So too will Antonio Alberthetti. He starts behind Jose Rodriguez on row 6. Antonio had a bit of an incident in the third race of the weekend, which dropped him down the order. And then at the back of the grid on row 7, we have Louis Requenco and Clemens Hecker once more. So very, very hot temperatures have returned for this final race of the weekend, and the drivers and teams will need to work extra hard to keep those tyres at optimum temperature. There are so many points around this circuit where you just cannot get any rest at all. There's a lot of motor racing circuits in the world where you can sort of take it easy on the tyres and maybe not push them as hard through a lot of slower speed corners. But in this sort of motorsport, in these trucks, there is absolutely no let-up whatsoever. Turn 1 is a really sweeping, long, fast right-hander. Turn 2, even quicker. And then turn 3 is another right-hander, which is a tight hairpin. And they come into that from a very hard braking zone as well. So a lot of the temperature going through the brakes will be transferred into the tyres, and there will be absolutely no rest for the rubber underneath these trucks. The Goodyear tyres they run on, though, are very, very sturdy. And, of course, we have the retreading process, which we will go over a little bit later. But right now, on the grid with Stefan Faas, the absolute comedian of champagne spraying, is Christina.
Spraying. That's really nice. He absolutely is. So our cameraman, Luis, he did not get away from you, but you got soaked as well, I've heard.
Ja, war gut. Hat riesig Spaß gemacht. Nee, wir haben gutes Rennen gehabt. Wir konnten schön aufschließen auf die anderen. War absolut genial und hat riesig Spaß gemacht, natürlich da mit den 2 zu kämpfen. Und man hat auch gesehen, dass wir da dranbleiben können. Das war für mich natürlich sehr wichtig. Wir haben das Grip-Level halten können. Und das ist jetzt wieder ein Schritt in die Zukunft, denke ich.
So he could hold the grip level, and he said it was genius to see the competitions in between those 3. And yeah, so the space in between those, he could be forward a little bit, and he said it was great fun having the champagne spray also for cameraman Luis, and it's great sportsman to be here. So the asphalt is really hot again. Der Asphalt ist gerade bei 50 Grad, irgendwie sowas. Das ist immer noch ziemlich heftig.
Ja, das ist immer noch ziemlich heftig, aber da draußen habt ihr ja noch ein klein bisschen Wind. Wir drin haben hier gar keinen Wind und das dunkle Auto heizt sich auch brutal auf. Also umso länger wir hier stehen, umso wärmer wird es hier drin. Aber gut, da müssen wir durch. Lieber haben wir schönes Wetter, wie dass wir Regen haben. Ne?
So you said better to have sunshine around than rain, of course, because if there's too much rain, we can't compete. But please mind the colors. Black, not a good decision. He said, as long as we stay here, for us at the shade, there's a bit of wind going on, but him staying on the truck is really getting hot. And I mean, you saw the grid girls getting sprayed a bit on the feet, and I touched the ground, and we could really boil an egg here. That's, yeah. I've got white shoes. Those are better. Those are better than a black truck.
Yeah, admittedly, I've spent way too many days out in the sunshine commentating at European racing events, not realising how bad an idea it is to wear black clothing on the hot days that I spend out there. Stefan Fast with the doors open on the truck right now, hoping for some sort of breeze to come through. And of course, while all of that is going on, we have our reconnaissance lap, or the inspection lap as it's more properly known, by Lucas in our Ford F-Max, the International Truck of the Year 2019. And Lucas will put this thing through its paces once more, while making sure that there's no debris, no dust, nothing on the circuit that could cause harm to our trucks and, of course, our drivers as well. Otherwise, it would be deemed unsafe to start the race. Now, here comes Lucas down into turn 3. Keep your eye on just how hard he throws this Ford F-Max in. Look at that. He's four-wheel sliding it in completely. And I know that Lucas will be doing this with a massive smile on his face. I mentioned in the earlier broadcasts that he has such a wealth of experience driving trucks at their limit, testing out many different safety procedures and safety measures that can be taken and safety equipment in these trucks to make them as safe as possible on the road. And he certainly knows exactly what he's doing behind the wheel. All of our drivers do. We've had a fantastic sort of cycle of drivers throughout the past few seasons. We've also had Ralph at the wheel of the F-Max. He took... And, of course, our beloved Frank the Tank, who drives the Iveco S-Way. Frank is such a lovely guy. He's absolutely huge. Like, he's so tall, but he's a really, really lovely bloke. And he's a good driver as well. I can tell you that for free. Lucas getting some smoke from the front tyres of the F-Max here. Well, it's a track inspection, Lucas, not a track limits inspection. Really flinging it about and enjoying himself. But that's a prime example there. If you compare that to his earlier lap from race 3, you'll see that there's a lot less grip out there right now as he nearly went completely straight on at the hairpin. Hopefully he doesn't get a telling off for that because it was mighty entertaining. Up over the crest of the hill he goes, and that'll be down towards turn 10. Everybody now clearing the grid and moving off behind the pit wall for the start of the race. You can see the red lights flashing there as everyone will get the warning now with just a few minutes left to go. Shane Brereton then on the inside of turn 1, right-hand side in the Apollo Tyres TOR truck racing machine. Reigning Promoters Cup champion as well. Double Promoters Cup champion. He won the category in 2018 as well. He was also British truck racing champion in 2015. And it's his 7th year in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And his main rival is also a double champion in truck racing, Theo Calvé. He won the French Racing Championship in 2020 and 2021, and he's currently he's currently trying his way through his 5th year in the championship. He got an overall race win last year as well at Jarama, his first overall victory. Let's not forget about Jamie Anderson as well, right up there in the Promoters Cup. The only right-hand drive truck on the grid as well, Jamie Anderson. The start has been delayed. I mean, there's no clearer message than that. But why is going to be the question, so I'll wait for the message to come through. I'm not sure whether oil on the track, actually, is the word. It's just come through. Thank you once again to Barbara. And I'm not sure whether that was why Lucas ran wide and it wasn't just down to the temperatures, but Lucas certainly went deep into the hairpin at turn 8. And it's good to have actually seen a definite sort of confirmation of that, isn't it? You know, we saw that he was still trying to put it through its paces, and at the end of the day, he needs to drive the lap as quickly as he does. You know, he's not showing off for the sake of it just to try and be funny. You know, while it is entertaining for me and I love it, it's purposeful. You know, he puts the truck through its paces around a lap like this just to see what the grip level is like, just to see if there's anything on the surface that may be detrimental to the race. He's almost like a big blue truck driving guinea pig, to be honest with you, is Lucas. Christina is down there on the grid. Any word from you on this, Christina?
Yes, thank you very much. So we're trying to give you the actual temperature. This is a thermometer. So what is it? Let's have a look. It's 50.6 degrees hot. Thank you very much from Don't Touch Racing. 50 degrees hot. So a small delay. And we were talking to Stefan Faas that it's so hot in there and they need to wait a little bit more. I hope they got some water bottles inside.
Yeah, me too. I mean, don't touch, flipping heck, definitely not. Don't touch that track surface because that is mighty, mighty hot. 50 degrees is absolutely nuts. But as I was saying, you know, Lucas does these sort of guinea pig laps in his truck to make sure that the circuit is absolutely as safe as possible. And I hope that whatever the problem is can get sorted out very soon. They may put some cement dust down or something to dry out and cover up the oil that is on the circuit. And that will, of course, mean that we get even more dust kicked up into the air around this very dusty Slovakia ring. There's been so many sort of apexes and corners, especially down at turns 4, 5, 7, and even turn 9, and the exit at turn 12, where there's been a lot of dust kicked up, and turn 14, actually, where all of the dust sort of lingers in the air. There is quite a lot of wind, and it blows across towards the start-finish straight, but by the end of the second race yesterday, and especially the third race this morning, there was so much dust in the air. It was honestly just like a massive amount of cloud had fallen over the trail, like it was foggy. It was pretty incredible, to be honest with you. Well, I was just coming back to Jamie Anderson, who I was talking about before in the Promoters' Cup. Jamie actually had a big reputation come with him from the British Rally Championship, so if there ever is a moment where Jamie ends up going off-road, and he certainly knows exactly how to handle it. Now, I thought there was quite a lot of people stood around Jochen Hahn's truck a moment ago. And now there's people stood in Jochen Hahn's truck right now as they all try to fix something on the engine. I'm not completely technically versed with what that'll be. There's Tony Idden on the right-hand side of shot as well. One of the race directors here in the championship, or one of the series coordinators at least. Tony's an absolute star. He's been around for a very, very long time, and he certainly knows his stuff. He's seen it all, as Mr. Idden. But I hope for Jochen Hahn, whatever that problem is not something that will completely take him out of the race. They actually had a forklift over to the side of the circuit there, which was, I hope, not ready to take him away, but it certainly looked like it was ready to lift the Iveco off the circuit. That would be a nightmare for the 6-time champion. Jochen last won the title in 2019. And the recovery vehicle has moved backwards slightly behind the barriers now. So hopefully, whatever problem it is, they have managed to fix it. But it wasn't on the side of the engine where the turbocharger is located. I was getting quite nerdy yesterday about the fact that on the MAN, the turbocharger's on the right-hand side, and on the Ivecos, it all seems to be on the left of the engine. Not sure whether there is any benefit or detriment to that. 10-minute board goes up in the air, so I'm going to have to waffle on for quite a while now. Sorry, everyone. But still, these things happen in motorsport. You know, they need to give themselves time to make sure that whatever problem there is out on track can be resolved, and everyone can get away nice and safely, and we can have a good, clean race, because that's what it's all about here in the championship. Clean in multiple ways as well. Not to mention that our trucks run on 100% renewable HVO diesel. Our pace truck runs on bio-LNG as well. And you can see everybody working very hard there on the side. I thought the top of that engine cover looked very shiny, you know. I think there may be a bit of oil or something all over the top of it, like a sheen. That's actually, well, I'll tell you what. I'm sure you heard the penny drop there, didn't you? You heard the penny drop there. Oil all over Jochen Hahn's engine. Oil on the track. 2 and 2 equals 4, doesn't it? There you go. So surely that oil has come from Jochen Hahn's truck on the outlap when he's gone around the circuit to get onto the grid. And for some reason, I'm really sorry, everybody, the penny just did not drop there at all, did it? You probably heard all the gears in my brain clinking together as I suddenly realised what the problem was. But I hope whatever the issue is for Jochen, it does get fixed, like I've said. Jochen, coming into this race meeting, was third in the championship on 78 points. He's not had the worst of race weekends so far. 2 podiums. He qualified third for the first race and finished there. He started the second race, the reverse grid race, in 6th, ended up just outside the podium in 4th place. And then this morning, he had a repeat of yesterday's race, effectively, although he did start 4th on the grid for that one and grabbed himself another podium. Him and Sasha Lenz getting another opportunity to absolutely drench Norbert Kish in champagne. And Christina has more information down there on the ground for us. Thank you, Christina, for always being such a good detective, actually.
Yeah, thank you. But the detectives sitting here and here, Jochen Hahn, trying to get the engine started. It was oil spilling out from his machine. As you can see, all the mechanics working right here. It's not only the screwdrivers needed, but also little, how do you say it in English? Lappen. It's like some tissues and stuff yeah, he's trying to start the truck again, as you can hear that. And as you can see, it's not only Hahn Racing mechanics, but also other mechanics giving a hand. That's really good camaraderie over here. And of course, it is a stressy moment, but I just saw Jochen Hahn, who is still relaxed. I mean, he's just inexperienced racers, and this is it. Oh, the engine goes. Sounds like good news to me. Someone should take off that tissues over there. And I hope he will be able to compete. Maybe have a chat with 1 or 2 from the mechanics. Ganz kurz.
Kraftstofffilter war wahrscheinlich die Risse.
Der Wasserfilter.
Kraftstofffilter.
Kraftstofffilter. So he said it was the HVO filter that maybe had a little crack in there and is now fixed. I spoke to one of the mechanics right now. Let's see if Jochen opens up the door again. But we do not want to interrupt, of course. We just want to be close with you as possible. So.
And you can see there, actually, they just mentioned... Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say he's going to go forward by a few meters, isn't he, just to make sure that they can clean the spillage behind. So while it was initially reported as oil, I mean, it's very similar to diesel fuel anyway. Diesel is a very oily fuel. You know, it can be very, very slippery. So they're going to take him forward a little bit. It's great that they can fix stuff like that there and then on the grid, though. But look, you can see so many different team members because of all their different clothing and teamwear. There's so many of them around from all of the different teams. It's wonderful to see. And I'm not sure if you can still see him down there, Christina, but there was a gentleman carrying a red and white sort of squeezy bottle of brake cleaner. Now, brake cleaner is a mechanic's best friend. If you cannot get like an oily sort of stain or something off any sort of surface, brake cleaner is the thing to use. I'm sure they've probably just sprayed a bit of that down there. There he is now. Well, luckily for Jochen, the truck is back up and running. And whatever the spillage is, I imagine, has been cleaned up. But again, just to see all of the different teams and the different mechanics all helping and pretty much climbing inside the back end of Jochen Hahn's truck, it's very impressive and again highlights the whole one truck family mantra of this championship and the industry itself. You know, everybody works hand in hand and helps one another out. And that was a prime example of it there. Just in a couple of minutes, just getting a problem like that sorted with the help of everyone around. Now we'll need to keep our eye on that, though, for Jochen over the course of the race. Whether they replaced the filter or just repaired the one that they've got, not 100% sure. So we'll see whether it lasts the distance, whether they have replaced it or not. And in just a few moments, I think we've still got maybe another 4 or 5 minutes before we go. And yes, I think the 5-minute board has literally just gone up there next to the Iveco S-Way. And that's the 3-minute board going up, actually. So time flies when you're having fun, I guess, or time flies when you're repairing a fuel filter on an Iveco. Either way, one of those is the correct phrase. And I'm sure everybody now is just itching to get going. And this is an important time for racing drivers because it's easy to get in your own head and sort of mess around in your own thoughts of planning out how your start's going to go, what you want to achieve in the race. You know, Adam Latchko spoke about it earlier with Christina about what he focused on, what he called focusing on the stupid things, where, you know, stuff that doesn't really matter in the race. You just got to take it as it comes. But these are the sort of moments where that all happens in a driver's head, and their mental attitude towards the event itself can change so quickly. And there goes, sort of running away with its tail between its legs, not quite literally, but the recovery machine running away now to its usual post. I'm sure that's going to be located somewhere down near turn 10, which I can imagine is a bit of a hotspot for trucks and other racing machines going off the circuit. 1 minute board was just held up, and we thank our crowds and all of our viewers as well, wherever you may be around the world, for sticking with us and continuing to display the wonderful patience. We hope you're all having a fantastic Sunday, and thank you for joining us here this afternoon. And you won't have to wait long for the next round of the championship either. In 2 weeks' time, we will be at the Nürburgring for one of the most highly anticipated rounds of the season, the ADAC Truck Grand Prix of the Nürburgring. The 15th and 17th of July, 15th to the 17th of July, I should say. We'll be there for another 4 races and, of course, 2 qualifying sessions to go with it. I'll be there on site, and I am over the moon to be flying out to Germany once again. It is a country I am madly in love with visiting. And Frank leads us away then on the formation lap. The bio-LNG-powered Iveco S-Way with its beautiful chrome bio-LNG tanks on the sides leads us all away. They're sounding the horns in the grandstands. Everybody really excited to get this underway. And Christina has just messaged me and let me know that they've changed the filter completely. Thank you very much for the info, Christina. It's always good to have eyes and ears down there on the ground, isn't it? So a new filter on Jochen Hahn's machine. The spillage around the circuit will be cleaned up. We'll get to that very soon, actually, I'm sure. So we'll see if there is any sort of cement dust or anything that's been put down to cover up that spillage, and see what the sort of splatter zone is like, and see whether any dust gets kicked up. There's the Honda Civic Type R at the back of the field. Be interesting to see what the lap times are like if you compared a Civic Type R and one of these trucks, you know. Civic a lot more nimble, but nowhere near the power output. A Honda Civic Type R usually puts out just over 300 horsepower. One of these trucks has over 4 times that. 1,200 horsepower from our beautiful 5.5-ton machines. And there is one of our sustainability graphics explaining that, of course, this beautiful Iveco is powered by bio-LNG. Bio-LNG fuel was brought in to reduce emissions by up to 95%. And it also doesn't increase the noise output of the trucks either. From having a ride on board with that thing, I can tell you it is actually impressively quiet, even when you're in the cab as well, and when you're trackside and you get to see it flying around the circuit with Frank at the wheel. There's Steffi Halm and Jamie Anderson, Adam Latchko and Jochen Hahn, 2 of the best-looking trucks on the grid as well. And then Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kish, the 2 that went head-to-head for the title in 2021. And will continue to do so this season as well. There's Louis Requenco and Clemens Hecker. Those 2 have been having a right dance this weekend, haven't they? They've always been around one another on the circuit at certain points. And they're going to continue to share the same space out on the road, I'm sure. Everybody just coasting their way round now in the high temperatures. And Shane Brereton, well, he's going to be feeling the heat right now as Andrei Kurzim starts alongside him. Andrei's had some fantastic starts in the past. And come to think of it, it was these 2 at the front of the grid at the Hungaroring, actually. The second race where we had that crash that everybody seems to have seen online somewhere. It's been quite interesting to see the fallout from that, actually. I don't mean fallout, you know, it's not been a negative thing, but again, when something like that goes almost viral online, and people realize that, yes, truck racing is still a thing. You know, there's so many people that have their eyes open to it that don't realize that truck racing is such a fantastic form of motorsport, and it gets new viewers in. You know, it's not exactly what the championship wants, is for people to be like, oh, look, a crash, that's good, because it's not at the end of the day. But it attracts new viewers in its own way. There's Frank putting the Iveco through its paces, smoke coming off the front tyres. And if you are a new viewer to truck racing, then make sure you do join us on the 15th to the 17th of July 2022, where we will be bringing you live coverage of the ADAC Truck Grand Prix. And I'm afraid during that weekend, you'll have to probably see my face at some point on camera, the face for radio. But it's still going to be an exciting, exciting couple of days. And I've not spoken to a single person in the paddock and in any of the teams that say they're not looking forward to it. Everybody knows just how big an event that's going to be, especially after a few years away and not being able to do it. Listen to the fantastic noise of our field making their way through to turn 13, the penultimate corner on this incredibly long 6-kilometre circuit. Louis Riquenco just behind Jose Rodriguez there in the blue, white and red number 14 Rebo Connaught Racing Team. So Shane Brereton then for the 12th round of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship will lead us away from the very get-go. They're going to fan out to their respective grid slots on the right and on the left. Shane starts on pole with Andrej Kurzim alongside. And the 12th round of the season from the Slovakia ring gets underway now. And it looks like a fantastic launch by Steffi Halm. She tries to go down the inside of Shane Brereton. There's contact though. Jamie Anderson runs into the back of Andrej Kurzim. Andrej slowly comes over to the right, but the gap disappears very quickly. Now look at Adam Latchko. Adam Latchko all the way around the outside into turn 1. Tries to make the move around everybody. Can he make that work? No, he can't. It's 3 wide for the lead. Shane Brereton in the middle. Andrej Kurzim on the grass on the left-hand side. Steffi Halm on the right. There's contact, there's rubbing, and Shane is slightly sideways. I think Steffi's like hooked onto the back of the truck. There's more and more smoke, and they're both completely sideways. Steffi's completely gone sideways. The two of them have definitely hooked together, and they've gone around, and Adam Latchko's off and in the gravel as well. I think the 2 roll bars made contact or something. There's sort of bumper bars, not roll bars, sorry. There's 2 bumper bars on the front and the back of each truck. And I think they hooked inside one another and Steffi couldn't get away from it. There's more contact there. That's Adam Latchko. Sorry, no, it's not. It's Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish making contact down at turn 3. Norby on the outside. Andrej Kurzim still has the race lead. Look at that drift by Louis Riquenco. Fantastic stuff. But it's a real shame to have lost them that early on. There's bodywork rubbing there on Shane Brereton's truck. He's going to be absolutely seething at that. 3 trucks from inside the top 4 already dropping down the order. I'm not sure who moved over on who, but they were 3 wide for quite a while. I don't think Steffi was taking no for an answer down that little straight. I say little straight, down that straight towards turn 2. There's all the dust and the smoke. Look, it's being blown over to the next part of the circuit. That's down at turn 8 now, which does go back on itself heading towards turn 2 where all of that happened, and they disappear off into the smog. You literally can't see a thing. Look at that. Down in towards turn 10 we come then. And it is Andrej Kurzim and the Don't Touch Racing machine leading the way. Jamie Anderson continues an amazing start and currently runs in 2nd place, but behind him is Sasha Lenz, then Jochen Hahn, Norbert Kish, Jose Rodriguez up into 6th place. He started this race 11th on the grid. What a fantastic start he's had. And there is Steffi Halm pulling over to come back into the paddock. Not quite sure where she's actually ended up going off the circuit there. How on earth have you ended up getting back there that quickly, Steffi? It's very efficient. There's Shane Brereton with some bodywork or something rubbing on a tyre somewhere. There's a lot of smoke coming from his machine, especially when he leans right. That's how you know it's the bodywork, because it's more apparent when he turns to the right. Sasha Lenz still ahead of Norbert Kish. He's made his way past Jochen Hahn, who currently runs in 5th position, but I imagine there's going to be a few investigations and a lot looked at based on that incident. It was hard to tell exactly how close they were to each other from our initial camera angle. But unfortunately, it meant that Steffi and Shane both ended up sideways. Adam Latchko had to go off in avoidance. It was good that they could, well, 2 out of 3 could continue at least, and it was good that there wasn't a sort of bigger accident from that. It was good awareness from everybody behind them. I'd be intrigued to see the footage and see exactly how it actually all happened. Adam Latchko and Shane Brereton, though, they're still going at full pace by the look of it, so clearly the damage not that bad on either truck, just a bit superficial, maybe a bit of bodywork just rubbing here and there. But this is now Sasha Lenz down the inside of Jamie Anderson, and everybody else wants to come through. Jamie leading the Promoters' Cup in this final race of the weekend, now that Shane is out of the picture. He doesn't need to fight too hard for overall position here, as long as he doesn't have Jose Rodriguez go through. I think there might have been contact there with Norby and Jamie. I think Jamie expected Norbert to have cleared him by the time they turned right into turn 5. I think they got away with it, you know. It seems okay. Jamie's still in front of Jochen Hahn. Jose Rodriguez right behind him. And then it's Stefan Fast in 7th position. He's 3rd in the Promoters' Cup right now. Then it's Antonio Alberthetti up to 8th place from 12th on the grid. Then Teo Calve from 10th up to 9th. And then Clement Hecker from the back of the grid up into a top 10 position. Good stuff. So plenty of shuffling, plenty of changing around in the opening lap and a half here at Slovakia Ring. It's never boring, is it? There's always something going on. At Sasha Lenz, you could see the front right tyre there really flinging itself to the right. He made a big steer to the right, corrective oversteer as the back end tried to break away on the brakes. We've got the sort of top 7 almost together. Andre Kurzim's broken away a bit. Then there's a 6-truck train behind. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. With Stefan Faas at the rear end of it. Adam Latchko has got past Clemens Hecker, and Teo Calve has also dropped down, actually. Teo's dropped 2 places in the middle sector. Rikwenko has dropped down as well, actually, so there's been a big shuffle going on in the middle of the field there somewhere. And there we go, across the line once more. So 2 laps in the books now. Andre Kurzim still leads the race. It's about time that Andre had some good luck on his side. One of his fellow Iveco drivers, though, Steffi Halm, is with Christina.
A quick reaction from you. What happened?
Yeah, I got a good start. I was not able to overtake Shane on the straight, so I stuck directly behind him, but go a little bit left for the first corner, and the plan went well because he went off a little bit, so I tried to cut him, but he didn't give me the space to stay on track and pushed me out in the gravel. And then we had a problem for the next corner. We stuck together and were not able to get out of it, but yeah, the problem is the respect before everything happens, and I also want to discuss this with the FIA because I think it's not the way we should drive.
Okay, thank you very much, Steffi. Back to you.
Understandably frustrated there, Steffi Halman. You know, it has to be said, the standards are usually absolutely awesome in this championship, considering the size of these vehicles. But we have seen a few times this season where one truck has sort of moved over when there is an overlap and put another truck off the circuit. There's never really been any sort of repeat offenders, but it's just sometimes I wouldn't call it a lack of respect, but sometimes it's just a bit too fierce, you know, with drivers trying to defend a gap that has already been filled by another truck. And sometimes in racing this happens, you know, people make mistakes and it's always down to personal judgment. But yeah, it is a massive shame to see that there is contact like that in a straight line as well, which I think that's the most frustrating part as an onlooker, you know, to know that somebody in a straight line has felt the need to not drive in a straight line. But still, these things happen. And hopefully there is a constructive and obviously respectful discussion about that with the FIA and things are taken to move forward from there. But we can't dwell on the negatives for too long because we need to keep our eye on this lead battle. Andre Kurzim still leads the race, but Sasha Lenz, Norbert Kish and Jamie Anderson, and well, you can continue this, Jochen Hahn, Jose Rodriguez, Stefan Faas and Antonio Alberthetti all piling in bit by bit behind to try and take that lead away. Very evenly spaced between all of them. Look at the pace they carry on the way into turn 13. It's fantastic, isn't it? Look at that. They're doing 100 miles an hour before they hit the brakes. And these 5.5-ton machines somehow stop well enough to then make it all the way around turn 13 safely. And then hard on the power again on the exit. The brakes in these machines have a decent operating temperature of 450 degrees Celsius. Yes, 450 degrees Celsius. I've been told by drivers before that's the sort of magic number that you need to try and keep them around. Anything over that and it starts to get a little bit sketchy and you get what's known as brake fade, when the brakes are too hot and they don't quite have the friction and the grip that you would want them to, so the truck doesn't slow down as effectively as needed. Now, Teo Calve has just come under investigation for overspeeding, as we saw a second ago with the top graphic. So the number 20 machine being looked at the moment for exceeding that 100 mile an hour, 160 kilometer an hour limit. They are governed to that speed. The trucks are capable of more than 100 miles an hour, quite easily as well, I must add, which is just balmy in itself. However, the drivers need to respect that regulation and stay underneath it. It's an extra added element to the championship. You know, I've explained that to a few friends of mine before, and they've always said, why don't they just electronically limit them? But at the same time, I think it's better that it's governed and it's down to the driver then. You know, the driver can, rather than just keep their foot flat and do 100 miles an hour, they will obviously have to sort of have a bit of skill about how close they can get to 100 miles an hour without exceeding it. And you see there, incident at turn 2, which is the incident between Shane Brereton, Steffi Halm and Adam Latchko, will be investigated after the race. Now this is not something that needs much investigation, because we can see with our own eyes Andrei Kurzim leading the race, but right behind him now is Sasha Lenz and Norbert Kish ready to pick up the pieces. Now the question here is, will Norbert Kish get past Sasha Lenz before Sasha gets past Andrei? Or will Sasha get through and then Norby have to try and follow on? Sasha certainly making his intentions clear. He wants to make the move ASAP. Now, one thing you need to look out for here, I'm going to tell you about this as soon as I can, because you need to watch Norbert Kish's truck now, the red and white Reverse Racing machine. I know he's got 2 trucks in front of him in more important positions than third, but keep your eye on Norby. He's been pulling off this amazing cutback at this final and penultimate corner sort of section, turns 13 and 14. He'll go take a wide line on the way in, and then he'll duck down the inside at the sort of second apex. And look, Sasha Lenz has gone wide because he's tried to overtake Andrei Kurzim. Norby tries to put his nose down the inside. Sasha cuts the nose off. Norby stamps on the brakes, I think, there and gets it sideways. Andrei manages to just hold on. Teo Calve's now got a 10-second time penalty for overspeeding. Will his luck ever change? Absolutely gutted for Teo Calve. He's already running down in 11th place. He's got pressure from behind as well. We ride on board with Norbert Kish, currently running in 3rd position. See, just making our way through the dust clouds. It's like when you're on a plane and you sort of climb through the different layers of clouds on your way up to 35,000 feet. Everybody's still flying into turn 1, though. Incredible speed on the way through. Now look, Sasha Lenz has got the run. Andrei Kurzim moves over to the right to try and block it. They get to 100 miles an hour, and look there, it just suddenly levels out. Suddenly the progress that Sasha Lenz is making to come through slows down, and they are completely at a dead heat as they go around turn 2. Still doing around 100 miles an hour through a long right-hander like that. Norbert Kish is weaving around behind them, going this way and that way, trying to find a way around. Surely we can't get trucks 3 wide around here, he says. Here is the view, and they're going to go hard on the brakes any second now. There you go. You can see both of them pretty much braking at identical points. Andrei Kurzim's on the outside, though. Sasha Lenz is going to go through, and he's going to take the race lead here at the Slovakia Ring in the 4th race of the weekend. Andrei Kurzim still trying to hold off Norbert Kish, though. He's on the right-hand side, the outside for turn 4. That's going to become the inside for turn 5. Norby trying not to lean on Andrei. There's a lot of pressure on here. Andrei right on the edge of the circuit. Wow, I thought he nearly caught the grass then and ran wide. Norby's got it done, though. The MAN down the inside. Gets a good punch out of the corner, and he is through. The reigning champion moves up into 2nd place. Absolutely awesome racing once again from these guys, and they kept it nice and clean as well. Andrei living up to the team name, Don't Touch Racing, and that was certainly a lot of non-touch racing. You can see there Rodriguez just kicking the back end out on the exit of turn 8. And as I mentioned that it's clean racing, There's even more reason to call it as such. 100% renewable HVO diesel powers these trucks. And there is a lambda sensor installed on all of their exhaust systems, so the fumes and the emissions can all be measured. So if there is any sort of emissions that the championship is not happy about, or emissions that don't reach the sort of sustainable energy mantra that the championship carries, then they will get black and orange flagged and they will get warned and penalties given out for it as well. The series really takes that sort of stuff seriously, and it is why it is at the forefront of sustainable motorsport. Sasha Lenz has a big old wobble on the way into 13. You could see the back end step out. Norbert Kish tries to tuck the nose down the inside and come through, but nothing happening there. Or has he done it, actually? He still gets the nose down the inside, and he somehow got alongside him. The two of them absolutely locked together as they come around turn 14 and across the line. Norbert Kish on the right, Sasha Lenz on the left. This is a titanic battle that's been going on for 2 seasons now. These pair absolutely at the top of their games. Norbert Kish is on the inside, though, and this is just like having a rolling start for him. This is much like the earlier race. 61 thousandths of a second across the line. Norby down the inside. The black and metallic green, beautiful SL Truck Sport 30 truck of Sasha Lenz on the outside, doing everything he can do to stay there. But once they get to 100 miles an hour, he's got no further advantage. He's going to have to surely try and send it down the inside into turn 3 on the brakes. That's if Norby doesn't already defend it. If he can get a good enough run on the exit of turn 3, though, Sasha could try it into turn 5. He moves over to the left. He's going to take a later apex than Norby. Norby's committed to the inside line. He's hard on the brakes. He's making Sasha go the long way around if he is going to do anything. Sasha tries to tuck in on the exit, but no, nothing doing. Azul back end steps out slightly on Norbert's truck for a second there. Kicks up a little bit of dust through the left-hander at turn 4. But Sasha, unfortunately, not able to come through. He's still piling that pressure on, and you can see that Andre Kurzim and Jamie Anderson are closing right in behind them. Jamie's having one hell of a weekend, isn't he? Again on the brakes, Sasha Lenz back end just steps out very suddenly. Seems like he's having some sort of problem with it. There's the dust being kicked up at turn 4. A massive amount of it. Someone's clearly gone pretty much straight on over the grass there. There's Adam Latchko just going through shot. He's trying to get back on terms with Antonio Alberthetti, one of his usual sparring partners in the championship. And in the dust there somewhere are some racing trucks. You can see just how sort of flat and how far away this circuit spreads itself. That is your race leader, Norbert Kish, up over the crest at turn 12. Sasha Lenz behind him. And then behind them as well, Jamie Anderson having a go at Andre Kurzim. He's doing a great job, isn't he, Jamie? Looking for an overall podium. Before this weekend, he didn't have any overall podiums in the championship. And then yesterday afternoon, he took a race victory outright. And that was his first time ever on any of the top 3 steps in the championship. He's looking for another one here. He's absolutely on fire, isn't he? He's got Jochen Hahn behind him, so he might have to defend in the latter stages here. We go on to the penultimate lap of the race here at Slovakia Ring, the penultimate lap of the weekend as well. It's been one hell of a weekend for it. I'm really hoping I can visit this circuit in future with this championship, because it looks like one hell of a place to be. And there, side by side down the straight, that's Antonio Alberthetti on the right, Stefan Faas on the left. Antonio trying to squeeze him over to the left-hand side. And the incident between Louis Requenco and Shane Brereton is under investigation. Very interestingly, we haven't seen that on camera, unfortunately, but those two are battling for 12th and 13th. So something is being looked at further down the order. And I've just received a bit of footage as well. Thank you as ever to our wonderful partners at Smart Witness, who provide all of the onboard cameras and help with the judicial review as well for all of the stewards, providing fantastic extra angles for us all to look at. It looks like Norbert Kish has some sort of like puncture hole in his windscreen. Something has definitely flown up from somewhere, whether that just be a stone or something from the opening encounters. There is a definite hole, in the front of it. And Jochen Hahn, there you go, is getting a black and orange flag for a broken windscreen as well. I wonder whether this is something to do with the trucks going off at the start of the race, although I'm not sure where the gravel would have sort of come up from to hit their windscreens like that. Whether there might have been some debris earlier on, actually, because let's not forget, down the start-finish straight for the first time, when the race got underway, Jamie Anderson hit the back of Andre Kurzim, and the bodywork from both trucks went flying in multiple directions, and, well, there's another hit and a few others from Jamie on the back of Andre. That was not subtle at all, was it? That was not subtle, Jamie. Not one bit. I'm sure Andre won't be too happy with it, especially as the team name is Don't Touch Racing. He's going to be shouting that at him in the rearview mirror. He's going to be screaming it at him. But here is race leader Norbert Kish. Now I'm wondering whether he's going to get a black and orange flag, for his windscreen as well. We've not seen Jochen Hahn's, but Jochen's is clearly broken. No further action between Requenco and Brereton. There is Brereton fighting with Theo Calve, and, well, Shane ends up off the road. Comes back on, all the way over to the right. Make sure that Theo doesn't get through on that side. These two have had some very, very intense fights before now, and they continue to do so. There is your race leader then. Once more, Norbert Kish. He's taken 2 race victories already this weekend, taking his tally up to 7 of the 11 races that we've done this season. And Jochen Hahn has just seen the black and orange flag, so he's now slowing down. He pulled over to one side there on the way into turn 1, and he's letting people through. That is a real shame for Jochen. Now, there's a trio over the top of the hill. That's Andre Kurzim, Jamie Anderson. Oh, and that is Jochen Hahn with them, actually. So it looks like Jochen's not going to go down without a fight, actually. I thought he pulled over to slow down. Maybe it was just because he was on the outside of Jamie trying to make a move. They've got Rodriguez just behind them as well. Jose tries to move to the right-hand side of Jochen as they go up over the crest of the hill. Jochen even looking down the inside of Jamie into turn 3 there. But with this being the final lap of the race, they need to push. Pretty sure Jochen might even just complete the race and come across the line, and I think he'll probably drop to the back anyway if he's excluded for whatever reason because of that black and orange flag. He'd have to come into the pits anyway, so I don't think it's a win-win at all right now for Jochen. It's very much a lose-lose situation, unfortunately, for the 6-time champion. Look how close they all are. He looks down the inside of Jamie Anderson into turn 8, locks up on the brakes to make sure there isn't contact. Jamie gets a fantastic exit, gives Andre another tap in the rear. It's very friendly racing, and I think, well, character building, I think, is the right word, to be honest with you. Jamie all over Andre as they go up over the hill once more. These guys are good 4 seconds back on Sasha Lenz in second place. And I've been told by the guys at Smart Witness, thank you again, that the sort of damage to the windscreen is from gravel at the start of the race. They do look like quite thick, hefty gravel traps here, don't they, at Slovakia? So maybe it is some of that that's come up and smashed into the windscreen. Andre Kurzim trying to hold on to a podium position. It would be his second podium of the championship so far. But out of the final corner to take the overall race victory for the 3rd time this weekend. Another very impressive race weekend and another impressive Sunday. Both races going the way of Norbert Kish in the Revesh Racing machine. Sasha Lenz finishes in 2nd. Not too far behind him, Andre Kurzim 3rd. Jamie Anderson takes all 4 wins this weekend in the Promoters' Cup. Very well done to Jamie. Jochen Hahn finishes 5th. Jose Rodriguez takes 2nd in the Promoters' Cup. And then it's Antonio Albacete, Adam Latchko, Stefan Faas, who gets another podium. And that is bad news for our cameraman Lewis, because that means he's going to get soaked again. But Stefan Faas doing a good job with 3rd in the Promoters' Cup. Clemens Hecker as well, 10th overall. He'll be happy with a top 10 finish, I'm sure. He finishes ahead of Shane Brereton, Louis Requenco, and Theo Calve, who rounds out our field. Another weekend to forget for Theo. Here comes Norbert Kish's drifting demonstration, which we always get at the end of a race day. If you've never seen a truck drift before, feast your eyes. Wait for the transition. Look at that. Look at the transition. Ready? From the right, he's going to flick it to the left. This is unbelievable. I was watching a drifting competition with a friend of mine last night. The European Drifting Championships are on in Sweden at the moment, and I tell you what, Norby could probably enter them in this MAN and still beat some of them. It is absolutely amazing, isn't it? Look at that. Wait for the transfer. I could never get bored of watching this. Look at that, he even flicks it to the right. Scandinavian flick style on the way into turn 8. Continuing to drift all the way around. Is he going to do the whole lap? I don't know if the tyres will last. Flicks it to the right, then the left again, then the right again. Whoa, it suddenly grabs a load of grip there as he goes through the left-hander. Again, mountains of smoke pouring off the back, but this is a very happy Norbert Kish that we are watching right now. He's taken 8 wins out of 12 races this season. He's won 3/4 of the races we've done. All the way around turn 10, right on the perimeter there, right on the curbs. There's turn 11. I've run out of words. I've run out of words for this. Norbert Kish, an absolute superstar. Absolute superstar. The 3-time champion takes another impressive win and gets another trophy to go with it. And some very battered rear tyres, I imagine, on that machine. The tyres were having trouble keeping up anyway this weekend. These hot temperatures really putting the Goodyear rubber to the test. However, we must give a good shout out to Goodyear. Admittedly, not to sort of speak badly of other championships, but there are a number of racing series around the world that would have had a lot of trouble with tyres on a weekend like this with the temperatures we've got around such an abrasive circuit. But Goodyear have provided excellent tyres and there has not been one single failure all weekend despite the temperatures. So hats off to Goodyear, the title partner of the championship, for giving us amazing racing rubber that continues to be safe and durable for our drivers, while also providing amazing performance. There you go then, Norbert Kish with his smallest winning margin of the weekend, but still, you can win by 1,000th of a second, and it's still a win. Sasha Lenz finishes in second place. Andrei Kurzim gets his second podium of the season. Well done to Andrei. Just finishing ahead of Jamie Anderson, who caps off a perfect weekend in the Promoters' Cup. Jochen Hahn finishes fifth. I'm not sure whether that will stand, though, because of the black and orange flag. Jose Rodriguez finishes sixth overall, second in the Promoters' Cup. Well done to him. Antonio Albacete finishing seventh is a sort of sour-tasting consolation, really, after what's been a difficult weekend. Starting right near the front of the pack will be quite disappointing. Stefan Fass finishes third on the podium in the Promoters' Cup, just ahead of our top 10 finisher, Clemens Hecker, for Hecker Racing. Shane Brereton will be wondering what if, after that poor start and the accident with Steffi Halm, Louis Requenco finishes in 12th, and another driver just hoping what might have been and thinking about that will be Teo Calve. We really do hope, honestly, that Teo's luck changes soon. There's Andrei Kurzim, very happy with the podium. The team works really, really hard for Andrei, and he is a really nice guy. And it is good to see them rewarded with a top 3 finish. As Norbert Kish takes another race victory. 3 this weekend as well from 4 races. And congratulations even from one of the T-Sport Benau team members as well there. Again, one truck family showing through. Sasha Lenz getting his congratulations from the team. You also can see Jamie Anderson just behind there as well. These teams really do work hard to support one another. Do Jamie's team and Sasha's team. They were running almost identical liveries last season, just slightly different colours. And there is Christina, and she's going to grab Andrei Kurzim in just a second for an interview once she has spoken to, I believe, Norbert Kish. I think that's what the hand signal meant there, Christina. Yeah, I got that one right, did I? Fantastic. Well, it's suddenly calmed down quite a bit actually down there now, but that is the end of our racing weekend as such. We still have, of course, some drivers to speak to, podium presentations to do, and then we'll look at some brief highlights before the end. There is Lewis as well, and it looks to me like he's ready to get absolutely drenched as Stefan Fast will be back on the podium once more to have a go at him. I'll have to see whether he can rope anybody else into giving Lewis a soaking as well, to be honest with you. A quick hug there from Jamie Anderson to Andre Kurzim. The two of them having a fantastic fight towards the end. And even with the amount of contact, it's great to see that they were both still having a good chat. And there's smiles all around as well. I think Andre's saying maybe, you did push me a few times, mate. But to be honest, if I was going to argue about that with anybody, it wouldn't be Jamie Anderson. He's quite a big bloke. Anyway, Christina's down there with the man of the weekend, it has to be said. Norbert Kish taking 3 wins out of 4 this weekend.
Yeah, he's having a chat with Sasha Lensrud. He's run off, but my name is Christina Run. He has to run back. So, Norbert, congratulations. Huge win in these conditions, race number 4. And congratulations to this racing. What was special about this? Because reverse grid time is always, as we've mentioned earlier, lots of dynamics.
Yeah, it's. We were a little bit lucky in the first lap, because in front of us, I think there was I don't know the end result. Probably nobody stayed there, so not a big crash. But I think they stuck together, Shane and Steffi and Adam. And there was some fenders flying, and I saw that one of them broke the windshield of Johan, not mine, but the windshield of Johan. So that's it happened to me before as well, and I know it's difficult to drive when the windshield is broken right in front of you. So we could overtake those cars who crashed and Johan with the broken windshield. And I think at the end of the lap 1, I think with Sasha we were P3 and P4 or something like that. And then we overtake Jamie and Andre, and then it was Sasha in front of me, and I knew that he was the second fastest the whole weekend, and I was sure that he will be very difficult to overtake if possible. And I think it wouldn't have been possible, but he made a mistake. Here in the last turn he made a mistake. He was a little too fast in. He slid in the middle, and then he had a bad exit because of that, and I could come next to him in the start-finish straight, and then another 3 right corner was for me to overtake him. So yeah, that was a good maneuver, and like I said, it's always nice to race against Sasha. I think he would have deserved the victory, but just that one mistake was between him and the victory today, so I could take it from him. And really happy about this weekend, because I think we scored almost maximum points. I think 1 less than maximum. So that is really a good result and a great result. Unexpected good result. And it's a huge job from the team. So I am really thankful for the Reves Racing team, because they always do a very good job, and they never cease to amaze me. So it's really nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we're going to have a quick chat with Andre Kurzim over there. Andre, come along. Other side, maybe. So congratulations, podium place. What are your reactions after this fine race from you?
Yes, the start was. I think the start was a little bit crazy. I don't know. I have to see the videos, and I can gain the position. And yes, after 5 or 6 laps, we have a little bit problems with our brake system. And Sasha and Nobi was very fast, and now second place for us. Very good.
Absolutely. So you need to go to the podium, I think. We don't got much time. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Chaz, as you can see, please present to us the results, EB as well, and we do see us on the podium then.
Thanks very much, Christina. Always good to have a quick chat with our drivers, and you can see just how appreciative Norbert Kish is of his team as ever. He gives so many thanks out to the guys, and he is always mentioning just how good a job they do. And he's one of those drivers that just has a fantastic squad behind him, and he's really showing how appreciative he is of that. But yes, the drivers have all run up there very, very quickly to get to the podium. and we will see them emerge in just a moment. There's a lot of people all around there ready to see them. That is how the championship stands after that one then. 160 points the way of Norbert Kish. He gains himself 59 points this weekend out of a possible 60. That is absolutely nuts, isn't it? Sascha Lenz still chasing him, though, on 128 with Jochen Hahn in third. And then it's nice and close between Adam Latchko, Antonio Alberthetti and Steffi Halm. One good weekend for either of those could turn that around very, very quickly. Andrei Kurzim is in 7th position, just 5 points clear of Jamie Anderson, and he was barely that far clear of him, basically, in that final race. Great battle between the two. Shane Brereton on half the points of Jamie right now, with Teo Calve just 2 points back in 10th position. Stefan Faas is 11th, 1 point clear of Anthony Janiak, with Rene Reiner 13th. Then it's Jose Rodriguez, Martin Gibson, Clement Hecker, and Thomas Robineau. So it's all nice and close in the championship standings, but it's looking good the way of Norbert Kish. And 9 points is now the advantage for Jamie Anderson in the Promoters' Cup. What a fantastic weekend for Jamie. I'm sure his smile will be even bigger than it is on that picture. Shane Brereton still second, though. He's going to be happy with a 17-point buffer over Teo Calve, his usual rival. Stefan Faas is in 4th. Heinrich Clemens Hecker 5th, only 1 point ahead of Jose Rodriguez, who's had a really good weekend, to be honest with you. Martin Gibson is 7th, ahead of Thomas Robineau, and then Louis Requenco is a bit closer now, more in touching distance of 8th position. And there are some big fans of Reveish Racing. They have a massive following, do Norby's team. They are really, really well appreciated all around Europe. And the branding is very, it's not in your face. It's not what I'd say, but it's very easily noticeable branding. When you know exactly how it looks, it's easy to spot from a while away. You can see still how windy it is here at the Slovakia ring. It was built on the site of an old airfield, so it's very, very flat and very windy. As making their way out onto the podium now come our drivers. Andrei Kurzim, fist in the air, really happy. Sascha Lenz comes around the corner to take another podium in this championship. He's so consistent. And Norbert Kish takes another race victory. Sascha Lenz has grabbed 3 podiums this weekend, which takes him up to 9. So there's only been 3 races this season where Sascha Lenz hasn't been on the podium. And here are the trophies being given out. Andrei Kurzim gets the 3rd place trophy. Raises it very high indeed for the team. Sascha Lenz gets another trophy to add to his extensive cabinet as well. And Norby gets another race winner's trophy, his 9th of the campaign. Sorry, 8th of the campaign, apologies.
Congratulations.
And there you go, the national anthem of Hungary for the 3rd time this weekend for Norbert Kish. Race winner once more. And this is the Lewis eye view for just a moment there. I'm sure that camera is going to get soaked in maybe 2 or 3 minutes' time. And there we go, changing the caps. As the drivers now change their own branded hats. And they pose for yet more pictures upon the podium. And let's see who does the best with the champagne. Well, Norby's already getting drenched. You can't hide behind Andrei. Andrei says, yeah, you definitely can't hide behind me. He covers the pair of them. Everybody getting soaked behind them. And who's Sascha going after now? Oh, he's going back after Norby. And there's no escape. He knows there's no escape. Oh, I love it. Oh, there you go. I can't imagine that's a great feeling. Always good camaraderie. And Lewis didn't get drenched in that one, I don't think. He might have got a little bit wet, but still. Not as drenched as Norbert Kish, but he deserves that after one hell of a weekend. Another 3 race victories to add to an already impressive tally. And the trophies now being put out there for the Promoters' Cup podium, which will be next up. Another 3 drivers to receive their respective trophies. And it's been a really impressive weekend, actually, for Stefan Faas. He's going to be on the podium for, as I count the result sheets, is it the 4th out of 4 podiums for Stefan Faas this weekend? It is. Beautiful stuff by Stefan. Really strong weekend in the Promoters' Cup. 3rd time he's finished on the podium. He's had a couple of 3rd places and then a 2nd place as well. And Jose Rodriguez gets another podium. And, well, Jamie Anderson, he's been an absolute demon this weekend as Jamie. He's been absolutely spot on. Not a single foot wrong. Stefan receives his trophy for 3rd. Second place for Jose Rodriguez. And then Jamie Anderson gets another trophy to add to the tally from Slovakia Ring. And he now comes away with the championship lead as well, which he will be very, very happy about. And we get another playthrough of the national anthem of the UK.
Thank you. Congratulations. Now, please.
And there we go. Now, the question for me is, where is Lewis? I imagine he's probably run off into the distance and he's already back down in the garages or something, trying to avoid being anywhere near Stefan Faas when he's got a champagne bottle in his hands. You can see the rest of the media know exactly how it is. Stefan's going to get Mike now, because this is Mike that we're sort of on board with. Oh, well, they're just drenching Jose. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't think they wanted to soak Mike, because that rocket launcher of a camera that he carries is ridiculously expensive, I imagine. There's Jamie throwing away one of the hats. Not quite literally, but still throwing the hat away to some of the fans. And I imagine he'll give away one of his trophies as well. He often does that, to be fair. He's a really top bloke for stuff like that, is Jamie Anderson. And well, the calm now comes back to the circuit. Everything sort of chills out a little bit as all of the racing action and pretty much all of the podiums are done. We have the team's podium to be completed now, which is still going on up there. And in just a minute, we will have a look at some of the highlights of that final race of the weekend. Plenty going on in that one for us to look at. And of course, plenty for the stewards to talk about as well into the evening. And oh, there's Christina with Jamie Anderson, actually. Sorry, I didn't get a cue for that one. Sorry, Christina.
No problem. I wasn't sure either. We were going to do the highlights first. Jamie, 4 in a row. Congratulations. What a great weekend it was for you. How are you enjoying this special moment?
Yeah, real good weekend for us as a team. You know, we've really climbed back up the leaderboard on the Grammar Cup. It's been a good thing for us this weekend. Really turned, we thought, from qualifying on the Saturday morning that it was just going to be another nightmare of a weekend, but we've really got in a rhythm. Team have done a fantastic job, you know, and it's been really good. The race then, we were all over the back of Andre. I just could not get it to stick. But what a great race, you know, really good, and we're really happy with what position we're at. Being top P6 is a good place to be above that.
Absolutely. The race 2 with the reverse grid. We saw some gravel flying around. Jochen Hahn unfortunately had to retire then at the end of the race due to broken windscreen. Did you see any of those situations?
Yeah, I was front ahead of it with Adam and Steffi. You know, it's unfortunate that some moves that people did counteracted having a failing on somebody else's race. I think it could have been a lot less brutal in some respects. But again, then I probably wouldn't have been in the position I was. I had a strong position from the start, good start, but we got chopped up on the start line, and then we continue from there, really. But a strong race for us and a strong weekend going ahead towards Germany.
I know you pack your things right off then after the race. There's not much time, but little time to celebrate, to party with the team.
Yeah, definitely. Tonight we're going to have a little celebration, all of us. You know, it's just been amazing from looking in we're at P9, P10 in previous rounds to now be fighting with top 6 is a real good position for us to be in, and not only off a reverse grid race, but on the main race.
Absolutely, and on the main podium from the Goodyear FAU ETRC, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and if we could have stuck it on the last one to be on the same podium as Sasha, that would have been a real good thing for both teams.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening, Jamie Anderson.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as he said, we want to, have a look at this race number 4, round 3, and it was very much to see.
Yeah, it really was a very, very busy race indeed. A lightning start by Shane Brereton on the inside, unfortunately, led to some hard defending, which saw him and Steffi Halm get locked together. Adam Latchko went fired off into the scenery, but somehow both trucks were able to continue. There was dust left everywhere from it, but unfortunately a retirement for Steffi Halm in the early stages. Norbert Kish and Sasha Lenz made their way through the pack, eventually getting past Jamie Anderson at the same opportunity. They went then chasing down after the Don't Touch Racing race leader, Andre Kurzim. Teo Calve had to defend further down the order, seemingly his truck not quite performing as he'd wanted it to this weekend. Andre Kurzim put up a fantastic fight to begin with Norbert Kish and Sasha Lenz chasing him down, but this was the moment down at turn 8 where he lost that lead. Norbert Kish went through into second not long after, and then Sasha Lenz would have to defend himself. Almost like a rolling start in the first 2 races for the pair of them. It was very close together, but Norbert Kish got the lead and ran with it. He only won by about 1.5 seconds in the end, but it was still a very impressive victory all the same. Impressive is the word to describe Jamie Anderson as well, who made his way up the order to eventually finish 4th with all of these incredible battles going on behind. But once again, as always, it was a beautiful and entertaining way, thanks to Norbert Kish, to round out the racing weekend.
So thank you very much, Joachim Eberts and Chaz Dreycoat. And Chaz, I owed you some detective work. What was in those white goodie bags the drivers got? It was a T-shirt, vitamin water, and some caps. But I could not reserve one for you. I'm sorry for that. This is the stands, really good view here. We enjoyed being here back at the Slovakia ring. Really nice. We welcomed all our fans. And if you are nearby, close to a circuit, and you see there's a truck race going on, please go there and have a look at yourself, because as you can see on screens, and it's so good to see it in live there. So much good driving going around. So that was really a pleasure for me hosting it again, round 3, and it will be a pleasure hosting at the famous ring, at the Nürburgring, the Truck Grand Prix. We are really looking forward. In 2 weeks, please tune in then. Until then, stay safe. Thank you.